All right, subject 3.
Subject 3, here we go. Conservative.
Yep, conservative.
Are we talking about political conservatives? We're talking about...
Whatever, it's just a word.
Conservative. Okay.
So you can have a political conservative, you can have a fiscal conservative, you can have a moral conservative.
Mm-hmm. Okay, conservative. You can have a social
conservative.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You can have any of those things.
Lots of conservatives. All right.
There's just not enough of them in the world.
Not enough conservatives are in the world. Conservatives. Or conservative. Conservative.
Yes, I intentionally left it conservative so that it's the full broad definition there.
What to say about conservative? Well, let's think. So conservative is just... I guess we could break it down. You got conserve in there, so saving. Mm-hmm. Keeping. Which I think is what the idea of the conservatism is. Is that we're holding on to what was before. You're being slower to change and things like that.
Or expending less.
Right. Okay. Both. I think that's the fiscal conservative.
Right. A fiscal conservative. Yeah.
Yeah. I think of a conservative, of a political conservative. That's several different things, but the part of it is, I guess maybe the moral conservative is holding on to that's probably better. The moral conservative is holding on to what was before.
Right. Yes, and I think that's true.
Resistant to change.
Resistant to change. Whereas a fiscal conservative would be just one that doesn't want to spend very much money.
Right, holding on to what they already have.
Right. Well, yeah, or just not messing around too much, just trying not to spend, trying to spend as little as possible.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you could actually use the term conservative to brand an environmentalist. Right? An environmentalist in a sense isn't conservative in that they're trying to conserve the earth. And most environmentalists, at least all the ones that I've ever talked to, their leading way to try to do that is to consume less in general. Right? To use less fuels, to buy less new things, to use less excess packaging, to do all those kind of things. Try to reduce your power consumption, all these kind of things. And that is being conservative. In your consumption. Yeah.
Frequently the environmentalist movements take place not in a politically conservative environment.
That's right.
They're sort of more towards social change, which is more less conservative.
and they tend to not be libertarian in that they're not like, I'm going to be environmentalist.
But you don't have to. You've got to be environmentalist too.
The environmentalist movements. I mean, I'm sure there are environmentalist individuals out there like that. They're like, I'm going to do my thing. Yeah. And I'm going to do my best.
But if there's a movement,
I'm going to be upset that you don't, but I'm not going to force you to do it. But an environmentalist movement,
you're trying to get other people
on board.
Yeah.
And when it comes to a political environmentalism, it's not done by the government cutting back. It's done by the government increasing consumption.
Right. Well, introducing new programs.
And
changing
new programs
education, things like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It definitely costs money. So less fiscally conservative, and it costs money for businesses, costs money for everyone to be more environmentally conservative. Or in general, I think you could save money too in some cases, but in general, you're going to be spending a little bit more to be environmentally conscientious.
Yeah. Well, or not. I mean, for an individual, like for me to be environmentally conscious, it actually can help reduce spending in general, right?
If you're willing to reuse things.
If I reuse things, if I buy less gas, if I have a smaller vehicle, those things all tend to cost less money.
Alternative forms of transportation, things like that.
Those things cost less money. If I eat less meat, particularly in this part of the world, beef is a fairly expensive meat, and also it's expensive because of its high input cost.
Yeah. Well, the cow thinks it's high input cost.
Yeah. Whereas chicken is relatively environmentally friendly. You know what's
it's easy. Yeah. It's easy to raise chickens.
They take a lot less feed.
Yep. A lot less space.
A
lot of chickens in a little coop. I've seen it.
I've seen it in pictures. I don't need to see it in person.
I've hung out with the chickens in the coop. And, stinks, but
not like a big factory farm.
No, just like a little, just a family.
Yeah, okay.
My friend.
That's it's still a confined space.
Yeah, they had pigs too. We wrestled with the pigs. That was fun.
Oh yeah,
small space, muddy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the pigs did not stink as bad as the chickens. Yeah, chickens are way stinky. Way stinkier than the pigs.
Yeah, they're a smelly animal.
Yeah,
and if you have chickens, you also have rats.
Yeah, and in this case, they also had like a bobcat that came and ate all the chickens. One year.
One time. That's all it takes.
Yeah. Gets in through the door and then boom, all your chickens are gone.
Yeah.
And then it really stinks.
Because not
you can cut that.
No, we don't cut on this show.
I know.
Yeah.
That opinion is subject to change.
The whole yeah. It's interesting.
Well, the Chick-fil-A. They've got their logo is the cows trying to get you to eat more chicken. So they're trying to be more conservative towards the cows,
that's right.
Less conservative towards the chickens.
Towards the chickens, that's right.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A is great. I love it.
Well, we don't have them around here.
Yeah. All over Utah.
Yeah.
That's where I am right now.
Not here. Yeah. Conservative. I'm going to say political conservatism is not popular. Not I'd say popular in the media. Yeah, the media tends to not be conservative. It's not the cool thing.
Right. It's not the hipster thing to be conservative. Yeah, which is really interesting because there are a lot of... I think even still there's tons of conservatives who just don't talk about it as much.
That's right. Just don't talk about it.
What do they have to say? We want to keep doing things the way they were done. It's the people who aren't conservative who want to change everything. They got to talk.
That's right. They've got to talk. The conservative is the default.
Right.
Everyone else is the outliers.
Well, just looking at the elections and stuff in several countries, you got I've been spending time in the U.S. a lot recently, and it's pretty close to 50-50 every time between the Democrats and the Republicans. So there's got to be at least a good chunk of the population that considers themselves conservative if they're voting for
politically conservative.
Yeah, who are voting for the conservative party.
Which is kind of funny because to have someone who is liberal, which you would tend to think would lean Democrat for some things, because Democrats tend to be more morally liberal.
Yes, I would say so.
But less fiscally liberal.
Yes,
and 100%. So it's like there's no popular party in the United States or Canada that manages to actually be just liberal. They don't exist. Right? There's none that's morally liberal and fiscally liberal.
Like, do whatever you want, spend all the money you want.
That's right. It's just like you can't...
Who's going to vote for that guy?
Well, the guy who comes into the government and says...
I don't care what anyone does.
Right. I don't care what anyone does, and we're going to do what we feel like
Everyone's just free to do whatever they want. Right. And we're going to do... The government's going to do what it wants to do, everyone else going to do what they want to do.
That's right. The other thing, too, is there's actually no... There's not really a fiscally... there's not really a politically conservative party out there. In that most parties will... Very, very seldom does the government intentionally reduce itself.
Yeah.
Right?
Bureaucracy expands.
Bureaucracy expands until it gets so heavy it collapses.
Yeah. Hopefully not anytime soon.
Well, or hopefully you get somebody in the government that says, you know what, we're just too bloated, we've got to do some cutting. And the United States...
Has that ever happened? I don't know of that ever happening. Not in the U.S. or Canada. Definitely the government's too big.
See, but the United States seems to be...
They did that in France, but it was pretty bloody.
It's pretty bloody. Yeah, it's called a revolution.
Yeah.
And there's been revolutions a number of times where the government ends up smaller after.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which happened in the United States.
Well, they just don't have as many... after revolution, how many people do they have to throw into the bureaucracy? That's not the point. They've got they only had a few people left probably after revolution.
Right. I suppose. But the United States seems to be at the point where if it bloats much more, it's just not going to be able to support itself.
It's already huge. It's not supporting itself. It's a huge debt.
That's right. It's not supporting itself. So it is past the critical point.
Right. We've been past the critical point for years and years and years.
So at some point, though, being past the critical point is going to catch up with them.
Well, as soon as people start cashing in on their IOUs.
That's right. And people probably are starting to cash in on their IOUs.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
There's one guy I was listening to that was saying, some of these domestic lenders to the government are out of money. And so they got to start cashing in.
Yeah.